Hello, Libra. Hello. Welcome to my channel. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Welcome. It's mid-February now. We have an intense retrograde season coming up, approaching quite fast, if not already begun. Um, and essentially, this is an important retrograde, and we'll be looking into the energies of loss and recognition of this loss. Essentially, we'll be building a mirror. This is a mirror reading. The great mirror will be pulled and called upon to show energies of you and someone else, and how there is a mirror between you, and through certain levels, 3 levels of representation, there will be a reflecting of these energies, sort of poetic representation of these energies. So this is a situationship reading for mid-February 2020 for Libra, and we'll go ahead and get started. I just picked up a new deck. It's a very old deck from 1890, the BP Grimal deck from France, and it's a very strong deck. It's about 130 years old, and we'll be working from that. Also, I have a sister deck that I will be pulling from in another reading, I suppose, or for clarification here. The Alietta deck, also from 1890. So these are very powerful decks, very old decks. So we'll just go ahead and shuffle up and get started. You're the first reading I'm doing on this deck, so consider yourself blessed or perhaps cursed. We'll see. I just saged these bad boys, so hopefully they're in good condition. So I'd like to invite you now to clear your mind and to perhaps get into a meditative posture or relax somehow. Get your tea on, whatever. And clear your mind. If anything flows through, just let it. So please relax. Okay. This deck is ready. Ah. Oh, goodness. Wow. Wow. Okay, this is incredible. Bottom of the deck's energy, we have the Nine of Swords, and this is in reverse. There is some type of fear, my dear Libra, fear that is being transcended with the Nine of Swords in the reverse. There is something from memory, something that has been on the mind that has caused a great deal of uh, something about sleep cycles, something about fear that emerges from the patterns of the mind. And these also have to do with your higher philosophies, the way in which you have a grand approach towards approaching things of fear, things that trigger fear. And there's a lot of trigger action going on with this Nine of Swords in particular. Usually, if the Nine of Swords is in the upright, then it represents truth that goes against adversity, and the need to express truth that goes against adversity, and therefore there is adversity. If it's like this, the energy of the sword is buried or perhaps set in stone, but it is still enmeshed in a type of work with the bending of truth in other ways, okay? So, not to get too esoteric, but basically, this is the release of some sort of fear that has to do with cycles of truths or mistruths that have been in your mind, and perhaps these are lifting. And it's not just in your mind, it's in their mind as well. The connection that exists between you and this person, the psychic connection, and the communication that once caused fear or caused a certain degree of war between you two is being set aside, and there's a release in this, and there's a release of fear in general. Perhaps there's been an element of no contact, or perhaps, yeah, this has to do with an, let's see, yeah. So releasing definitely of some sort of thing that you once held to be a sense of tension and therefore led to a type of truth, or perhaps put you in a position in which you had to assert yourself and they had to assert themselves. Whenever you stood in truth, you essentially were protecting yourself from them and their unreasonable actions, but they reflected this nature. So both of you have a lot of the connection between you two is very much based on the intellect, but also on hidden emotional intellect. That is that was once a cause for a great fog, but this fog is lifting, this fear is lifting, and now there's vision to be had here. However, there still is an element of between you and this person fighting or perhaps verbal rapport. If you're in silence, there is a possibility that there is like at least thoughts about each other, heavy thoughts, but then also the need to protect oneself or themselves or yourself from the other's energy, and the ability to cut out at will if you really needed to. But I don't think the connection between you two is still it's still there. There's some sort of investment that has interwoven between you two, but then the boundaries are very much they're up, and there's a need to parlay with this person, to have some sort of parlance or credence with this person, to place a certain amount of trust in the silence, or trust in the slow mode of communication that may have come from this. But then there still is some sort of lingering fear when it comes to talking with this person. Now, on the soul level, on the third rung here, this is your energy, this is their energy, this is the energy between you two, okay? Also, this is how they perceive you. This is how they are perceived, or you perceive them, and this is sort of the mirror between. So there's like a reflective quality to it, and it applies for all columns. Each column deals with you, them, and then the mirror between you two, and it's reflective. So it's a 9 card spread. I can clarify a bit more if it's necessary. So yeah, let's move on. What I'm seeing here with the connection between you two on your end, and this is not a mind thing, this is a soul connection. This is like the feeling, but it's deep feeling, it's deep hidden sort of soul poetry that you share with this person. The way that they see you is someone who has stabilized in a huge way and found a way to come up with the cycle of the pentacles, to find grounding and to be abundant in a certain way. You feel this way as well. Finances have been very big on your mind, and you're on the path of some sort of thing, a new beginning when it comes to this. This commitment to yourself, especially. You are very much committed to yourself and are no longer dependent on their energy to support yourself, to move forward, to go forward, and to boldly sort of make a stand in what you believe in. Also, there are, on a soul level, there is a huge commitment to them that you may have invested in past the Eight of Pentacles. So there is this energy that you've spent a lot of time essentially giving your energy, giving your resources in one way, shape, or form, whether that's time, money, or feelings of love, some sort of, even your health. You've given something to this person, and you've also retained it in a certain way. And you're in between the Eight of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles, which is a place of isolation, but also a place of stratification. It's a place where there's a buffer zone, and you are finding your foothold. Not only that, you're elevating in a certain way towards some sort of solidity, some sort of very well-founded, grounded way of existence, which is very beautiful. So the soul connection also may on the soul level here, the unconscious level, there is a feeling completely devoted to yourself, whether that is through this person or without this person. You are completely devoted to the idea of, say, love, in terms of what it can offer in terms of partnerships or commitments. Also, you're committed to your projects, whatever they may be, whatever you have manifested, you're working hard towards. There is something very solid about it. Okay. Um, on their end, there is the Two of Rods, and it's interesting with this deck, and I'm just starting to realize that is that a lot of them can't be read upside down. They have very. This is a very mysterious deck, in that some of the reversals can't be read here, which is interesting, to say the least. Like here, the Ten of Pentacles is not neither reversed nor upright. It's a mirror reflection. So we're gonna go. Well, I'm just gonna have to like read it, but it's very interesting. Usually I read reversals, but this time we're just gonna go ahead and roll with it and see, because now it's reflexive, even more reflexive. They have the Two of Pentacles, or Two of Rods here. The Two of Rods is usually indicative of some very intense energy. They are making a choice between two passions. On a soul level, their energies are split. It could be between you and something else, or two other things, or two other projects, or two other people. Um, but they are split, and I think it's not definable. We can pull cards to look into what they're split about, but we're not going to do that. It's unethical for now. However, there is the energy of them diverting their heart space into two separate things and making a choice. They're at a crossroads, and usually this has to do with the ex, a type of career choice, or a type of ending, or perhaps some sort of end goal in mind. With this sort of marks there, it's a marked response. Here we're seeing essentially that they're making a choice. There's a lot of earth on your end, and there's a lot of fire on their end, and there's operations of these that create some sort of equilibrium between you two. But these energies are usually not very resonant, earth and fire. So we can go ahead and keep looking into it. Usually, earth and fire, at least for me, represents a type of desertion, or like a desert-like climate, in which, yeah, there's a lot of heat. There could be pillars of fire in the desert, something very spiritual like that. So perhaps there is a spiritual undertone to this connection that is quite deep and profound, but they're making choices, and they're trying to figure out what the hell they want to do. But it's bad because it's unconscious, meaning that they can't consciously make a choice because their unconscious is split. Okay, so that their consciousness is existing in two different potentialities. Okay, this is good energy, but it's also not so good, because it shows that they may be polyamorous, or that they may be very indecisive in a way, kind of like what Libra's energy is, but then different, because it's like it's indecisive, but it's by the element of fire. Fire should burn, like, if passion is there, it should burn uncontrollably. There should be no need for distinction between two choices. Yeah. So I'm seeing here a bit of ambivalence, and it's ambivalence that is in the very unconscious level of their representation, which is very strange. Between you two here in the mirror, on the soul level, there is the King of Cups, the King of Cups. Both of you are quite concerned with the way an offer of love will be made, and this love is very deep. This is the card of Scorpio. It's a very, very deep love that you guys have for each other, but there is this sort of nature that each time love is offered, there's a constant looking back. There's a constant uh, there's a constant way of looking back at what's happened. Okay, but this love is huge, and the king of cups usually is very repressive in a certain way. And also they are concerned with memory. They're concerned with what has happened, what they've learned through emotional hurt, okay? So there's a lot of intuition here, but it's also a type of logic that is based on emotional intelligence. The connection that you share on a soul level, yes, there's a lot of love through this king's energy. It's very masculinized. It's like very cardinal in a way, but it's um, and very fixed, very very fixed. The love for you guys having for each other, it's like you don't want it to be there almost, but it's there, and like it's not fully expressed, but there's a lot of it. And it's always because of this like need to look back to see where you've gone, to see where they've gone, in order to make it work. Also, there's something about the father here. There's something about patriarchy, the modes of social behaviors behind structures of patriarchy. There's something about the love that exists in traditional relationships, that with masculine and feminine, something like this, where the masculine is constantly sort of repressed in a certain way by not being able to express emotional content. Do you understand? This is a phenomenon of our age, that men, through their gender role, cannot express emotions without being, sliced up. This is sort of like a 20th century conception, but we're moving on from that. We're in the 21st century. And there's something interesting here, because it's sort of an old school love. Okay, That's all I'm gonna say. You are sitting very very pretty right now. They are trying to make a choice, and this is on the soul level. And there's a lot of love between you, but it's like old school love. Okay, this is the second level, and this is the subconscious level. This is what is trying to be brought into the manifestation. There's a lot of thinking that goes on here in terms of the reflection within the great mirror. On your end, there is a Three of Pentacles, and it is in the upright. I read this as the upright. There's a pyramid structure here. There's a need to cycle in a type of teamwork in order to build your pentacle cycle, to find stability. You have a lot of teamwork. You want to work as a team with this person, but there's a strong possibility that they are projecting onto you a need to bring in a third party, or you are willing to work with third party energy to sustain something here, to work together, to find harmony. This is a card of the earth signs, of course, but I see Capricorn as well as Libra in this, because there's a need to work together and to build a structure that is based on heavy investments, okay? Here, there's a vision that you have that has to do with teamwork with this person, okay? That's how they see you, that's how you're seen. And your energy is very good because you're very grounded on the soul level as well as on the subconscious level. On their end, they have let's see here, the five. Oh man, they have the five of rods here. So there's conflict going on. They're being torn up, and they actually want to create this feeling of conflict. They want to start a fight. It seems like they want to find justice also because of the justice card above it, the conscious level. There's an element of trying to bring in a situation to create enough friction so that they can be catapulted into making that choice that they can't make. They want the universe to help them make that choice through the conflict of ego, the conflict of various forms of manifestation. And from this comes a big bang, some sort of craziness that occurs with the tower here in the mirror. On the subconscious level, the tower in the middle represents the mirror, what's being reflected. And what's being seen through. There is an energy of the tower, which is huge transformation. Also another card of Scorpio. There's a lot of scorpionic influence here. The Six of Cups is also Scorpio. It has to do with memory here. So I wouldn't be surprised if from these three cards in the mirror, both of you have this scorpionic tendency. There's a possessive quality, or perhaps there's this clingy quality, or perhaps on the more higher notes of Scorpio, there's this transcendental vision that comes through the eagle, or some sort of transformation through the phoenix energy. Some heavy things also, not to mention snakes being tied to Scorpio, as well as a fourth sign in esoteric astrology. I can't remember which. Um, it's another animal. I forget it. Yeah. So let's get back to it. There is a need for you to create structure. They want to break down structure, and through this dynamic, there is this tower element. Somehow the structure is there, yet also it is decapitated in a way. The power of the structure falls after a great calamity. Yeah. Um, yeah, so we have 1, 6 here, as well as 7. There is the energy of partnership, as well as self, as well as routine and a type of everyday. Okay, there is something here that suggests that the what both of you are trying to manifest is a way to break down the structure that you're trying to build, or perhaps break down the structure that is trying to be built here. Usually, the Five of Rods is building towards a home or building towards something, but the foundations can't be created because of too much friction. In the Rider Waite, it's always guys or people fighting with each other because they can't get it right. Um, so there's this element of collapsing, of false structure, of artifice, and transforming that into something new. I don't see this as a very negative tower, no, because if you're co-creating this, there is harmony in it, and there's a need to bring down something. Perhaps they're in a very toxic relationship, and they want to bring about some sort of change through this tower energy. Perhaps you are sort of willing this to happen as well, which is very interesting considering it's quite revolutionary and it's very Uranian. This has to do with sudden and drastic change, right? Through the sun's energy. Some sort of higher consciousness takes down a structure that has to do with kingship. It could be that there is a need to abdicate or dethrone something in order to find some sort of truer structure to rebuild again from the ashes. Okay, this is all interesting stuff. Now, um, basically, what I see here on the subconscious level is that there is a need to work together, even if it's through some sort of fight or something, in order to work through the problems and to transform that energy. On the soul level, the unconscious level, there is the need to. Well, I mean, there is no need. It's just what is on the deep level, for stability as well as making choices, as well as great love that exists between you two. Now, on the top level, we have the conscious level, and we have in the mirror, we have the Six of Cups, and it's in the upright. Six of Cups is Venus in Scorpio. This has to do with very deep emotions that stem from memory, and stem from the inability to withdraw from this memory, to no longer be affected by this memory. There's a lot of affect that occurs between you two, and this is the conscious level. This is what is manifested, okay? So between you two, there is a great memory that has to do with past life stuff, and between you two, there is an incredible amount of depth, incredible amount of love that is almost familiar in a way, and you can't avoid the memory that is tied to this, the feelings that are very deep that are tied to this. There's a feeling here that you may owe something, or they owe you something, or something like this. There's a feeling of almost betrothal because of this, being like a family member or something very deep and profound. Yeah, we have here on your end, on the conscious level, how you are seen and how you are feeling, how you are your self-image is here as the Fool, the null card, the zero card, the Fool, the journey of the Fool, chasing the butterfly and going boldly into some sort of new path work, okay? With your stability here, there is all probability that you're going on a new path with work, as well as your daily routines are shifting to this new pattern. Perhaps you have a new regiment in terms of what you are trying to do, what you are trying to achieve, and there's a lot of it's not ambivalence, it's just a lot of unknowing. There's some crazy stuff that could have to do with transformation. Once again, you could be chasing this butterfly, the transformation that occurs here with the tower. There's something about this nature that has to do with also Martian energy, the energy of Mars through through Aries. So like Aries is all about the beginning of the zodiac, how to bring something in cardinally, and there is a reflection with your seventh house here. So it could be a new relationship because Aries and Libra share the same axis. They're 7 houses away. And there's like a polarity with this energy that actually points to a new beginning that has to do with infinite possibility. On their end, they have the Justice card here. They have you on their mind, on their conscious, and it's incredible because there also is the 8 here, which is the infinity on the side, and also it's the 8th house, which is Scorpio. It's very scorpionic. Yeah, and it's funny because this 8 also has a defect. After 1890, after 130 years, it's lost its upper ring. On the bottom, it's there. But up here, it's been converted, I guess, after use to Taurus, which is all about stamina, drive, and it's a sister sign for Venus with your energy, justice here. Libra, it's usually tied to Libra. Taurus can also be tied to justice now within this deck, which is a very, very cool thing about this deck. It's a defect, really. But what is going on here on the conscious level is some incredible archangel work. There's something that is occurring with balancing out the poetic connection between you two, and being willing to weigh that out and to cut it out if not deemed to fit what's going on with their life. You may see them as the harbinger for some sort of justice, or you might see them, especially, as a way to see yourself. You probably have had this feeling with this person that you've seen them before when you first met them, that wasn't exactly their physical appearance. It might have been a glow around them, and when you saw them, it was suggestive, at least, of something that was quite magnificent, that was not expected and really hard to measure. Okay, here there is a need to measure out the equation of this 6 of Cups, and they're watching you. You're watching them on different journeys. They're on the search for truth and justice and equality. You're on the search for newness, with or without them. Also, they may have a detached quality when it comes to this relationship, and there may be the possibility that they are trying to figure out if it's a karmic tie or not, or trying to find their higher truth when it comes to this, or perhaps they already have a mode of thinking that is resonant with a higher truth, that they are equipping and trying to balance out something with the past that has to do with something that needs to fall out, that is causing a lot of stress and causing this inability to make a decision. Okay, um, that is your reading. There's going to be no clarification for this one, nor will there be an oracle. This is a 9 card spread, and basically what I see is the need to start anew and to recreate a type of measurements with this person, or without them. There is a great history that exists between you two that is not only of this life but of past lives. And there is a feeling of deep, profound love that is almost transformative. And not only that, there is a great deal of sexual energy with the um, the um, mm, the tower being here. There's something very strongly compelling about this connection because it forces both of you to rework the very foundations of your existence. And not only that, there is a need for the liberation of this memory to relive it in some way, shape, or form, and also to let go or perhaps let be the past somehow. Um, this person is holding on for dear for the idea that they will idealize some sort of new truth and perhaps envision it, but they are very much operating according to passions right now, and they can't help it. And this is pushing them into a type of classification, qualifying all that they've been through already and trying to balance out and be just with what they do. They're trying to be a good person, so give them that credit, all right? Um, yeah, all right. Well, good luck with your transformations as well as this new this new journey that you're embarking upon, that can vary from watcher to watcher. But this is your reader, Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in March. And peace.